Hi, this is John. I'd like to show you what I'm doing on the small 3-acre rented property that we have in Lusaka, Zambia. We moved here about 6 weeks ago, and on 1 acre of the property we were able to do some little bit of farming. So I'd just like to show you how I'm doing that. So here's the 1 acre field that we have on the side of the house. And as you can see, there's some rows of maize and other things coming up. So let's have a closer look at what's going on here. So first off, I divided the area up into 5 strips of 18 meters wide. And the strips are divided by this row of trees here. So I want you to do like an agroforestry setup here to some extent. So down the middle here we have a row of trees. We've got Lusaka, mulberry and moringa trees, and then on either side of that we've planted a strip of bracharia grass. This is bracharia grass, and we've just planted one row at the moment, but they will, once they start tillering, I'm going to plant another row next to it. This is the Lusaka tree that was planted first, and they alternate Lusaka, moringa and mulberry. Then alongside, or in between the rows of trees, I planted maize. Now this maize was planted with the first rain. We didn't get a lot of rain, but I thought, no, I must take the risk and plant. We had fairly good establishment, but some were a bit gappy, so we lost a few, like for example here, and I had to replant. So those two little maize plants are coming up here. That's a weed. So we've got a little bit of a difference in planting stage, but most of the first planting came up quite well, and we only used manure in the holes, and now we've applied some chicken manure as a top dressing on the side. I have done one weeding, but I asked the guys who were weeding to leave the beans and whatever else came up. Now there are 4 rows of maize, and then we have a row of desmodium. This is green leaf desmodium, planted at about every meter down, and in between the desmodium I have planted some sun hemp. There's a sun hemp coming up here, so the sun hemp will be, there's some sun hemp also around that desmodium. So it's a kind of a push-pull scenario with the desmodium in between. And then in between the maize here, in the middle row of the 4, I've planted pumpkins. They haven't come up. I waited until just the other day to plant the pumpkins because I wanted to get the maize going. So the pumpkins will come up fairly soon. And then you see here we go into another row of green leaf desmodium and sun hemp. Now in the row of trees, in between the trees, I also planted some pigeon pea. Here's one coming up here, and there's another one over here, another couple coming up here. Pigeon pea didn't germinate too well. I planted them quite early, the rain wasn't so good, so I've replanted the pigeon pea. There's some more coming up there. So I'm hoping that we'll get a nice row of pigeon peas between the trees. And then next to the 2 blocks of maize, I planted groundnuts. Now the groundnuts have only been under the soil for about 5 days, but they are starting to come up, which is pleasing to see. See, they're cracking the soil now. It's very nice and wet. We had some really good rain the other day. So in a day or two the groundnuts should be showing up really nicely. And they're on the same configuration, 4 rows of groundnuts at 75 centimeters. Here they come again, a nice groundnuts breaking the soil surface. And then a row of desmodium. Now here I had to plant desmodium with seed because I didn't have seedlings, so they are just starting to come out, I think. So we'll see how they establish themselves. So in a few days this should be full of groundnuts, this little block here. So I've got 2 more blocks to plant. They're looking rather weedy over there now, but I'm just waiting for the season to progress a bit more before I plant that. I'm going to plant cowpeas and sorghum and millet and sunflower over there in those unplanted blocks. So here's a little field of maize just to finish up with. The row of bracharia, the trees, and then another row of bracharia, but I planted this bracharia with seed, so that hasn't come up yet. So we'll see in a day or two that bracharia should be up. So there we have it, our little, don't know if you'd call it organic, but we haven't put any inorganic fertilizers in here. We've only put manure in this field. So I'll keep you posted as this develops. Thanks for watching. Bye.